What's up? What's up? Carmine Danisco here. Shark Tank Effect in the house. We got an awesome show coming up. We've been traveling the country, grabbing the Shark Tank entrepreneurs, seeing what's going on, what's going down with their products. I have the man himself, Mr. Christopher Guerrero. Chris, what's up?
Carmine, it's almost July 4th, baby. It's
Oh,
my
yeah,
time
man.
of year. Start blowing shit up.
Chris, you don't like fireworks. You're not one of those fireworks guys, are you?
I was the guy that's lit like the woods on fire as a kid. You always talk about like Landano being the firefighter in New York City. He would have hated me. I
Yeah.
was always lighting something on fire.
You got to give them something to do, right?
Yeah. It's funny because Tyler, it's ironic in my hometown in Auburn, New Hampshire, I became really good friends with the chief of like the police and the fireman, the chief of, well, I don't know what they call the fireman, the chief of the whole district, because Tyler went in the woods one night with Jimmy, his friend who was a lot older, and Mikey, and they started this little campfire with
Oh,
like 30
no.
mile an hour winds that caught the whole woods on fire. So that's how I became friends with the town officials.
Of course you did.
Very good story now that he's 25.
Yeah, now you can admit it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. So, hey, listen, talk about fires. We got some fires going, right?
Yeah,
Super
man. What
Zoo,
do you got going on?
Super Zoo, baby. We got Super Zoo. We're gonna have a good show, right? Some good pitches, a lot of new products that we're gonna see in the pet industry. And again, I keep promoting this beach party because I'm telling you, it is one of the best parties I've been to for the show. So it should be a lot of fun. August, August 16th and 17th is when we'll have the stage. August 15th, working on a golf outing, which will be fun in Vegas. 110 degrees. Should be a lot of fun. We'll
No
try to
doubt.
we'll try
And
to do it in the morning.
if any of you listeners go to and fortunate enough to play golf with Chris and his, don't bet him. He's one of those golf sharks.
I cheat. I've come right out. I'm a mulligan guy. I have an extra ball all the time. You never know when you're gonna find a ball on the fairway.
There it is.
That's part of the game, right? It's how good is your pencil.
Oh,
All right,
awesome. So what do we got going on today? Who do we
so it'll
got?
be fun. So once again, we got a pretty cool product and a great guest on today. Shirah Benarde will be with us from NightCap. Came up with a really cool invention, which I think not only, I mean, this is kind of a lifesaver, really. When you think about it, I know people who have been roofied in clubs, and my kids now are, that 25,
Horrible.
30-year-olds. I always get worried about them going to clubs. Even in Vegas, when I was in Vegas, I was talking about, we went to a club one night, a bunch of us had a drink in my hand, people bumping into me. I mean, it can happen like that. So let's bring Shirah on. She can explain how she came up with NightCap and what she's been up to these days. She's out in New York City right now.
Hello, hello.
So how did this all take place, Shirah? Who are you, first of all? What do you do? And how did you come up with this great product?
Who am I? I don't know.
Come
Um,
on.
so I thought of NightCap. Well, first of all, NightCap is the first product that we have is a scrunchie. You can wear it on your wrist or in your hair, and then when you go out to the bar, you pull this little cover out of the pocket, and the cover goes on top of your drink so you don't get roofied. It's a physically protects your drink, and it also acts as a deterrent. It tells the bad guy not to mess with you.
Genius idea. Really.
Thank you. And we've come a long way. We have a bunch of other products now, but that's kind of the one we went on Shark Tank with. And I thought of this idea in a dream when I was sleeping. I was 16 years old, and I had a college friend of mine that was roofied a couple weeks prior.
Some
So
scary stuff, right? Getting roofied is some scary stuff.
yep, and I still hear all the stories to this day because it's still going on, and it's probably the worst it's ever been now. But yeah, my brother is my co-founder, and we pitched on Shark Tank same season as you, I believe, season 12.
Yeah, season 12. So you came up with it in a dream. So is that from listening to like your friends being roofied? Because I know of an experience. My wife's friend got roofied, and man, I was listening to the stories, and like she couldn't remember anything. It was awful,
Yeah,
and like nobody can really help you afterwards because she
yeah,
wasn't sure where to put herself, when it happened, all that stuff. It's scary.
yeah. You really don't remember anything, and a lot of people just like have no recollection of of things like hours prior before it even happened. Like it's very weird what it does to your brain. But yeah, I mean, people are still messaging us today, like thanking us for the product, people who have had like traumatic experiences, being able to leave their house again, go out again because of our product.
So what were you doing before this? So you're a young kid, right? Just hitting the clubs, right? So you're basically, I mean, you're still, I mean, only 17 now, right? You can't be much older, but
No, I'm 20 now. I'm 20. But
so,
before this, I was going to high school and doing my homework.
yeah.
And my senior year of my senior year of high school, we flew out to Vegas and pitched on Shark Tank, and I couldn't tell anyone until like 6 months into my freshman year of college. And then fast forward to my sophomore year, I dropped out of school and kind of just work. Now I'm working on the business full time. But
This is the American dream, seriously. I mean, right? Like the whole education thing, you can talk about that all day long, whether you should have it, shouldn't have it. But here's a great example of someone who came up with an idea and acted on it. That's what I always say. You have an idea, you need to act on it,
Well,
right?
Chris, the hard part was her because she's not allowed in the bar. And of course, she's never been in a bar. She must have had people testing the product for her, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that fake ID wasn't working
What?
properly.
No.
actually, yeah, my brother and my dad would have to go in and test it in the early days. Like I would be like, what did everyone say?
Yeah,
And
wow.
yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic because like legally it's like you can't even, I mean, how are you supposed to market your product? How are you supposed to take pictures of it without getting into a, I mean, yeah. Anyway,
So okay, so you had this idea. Walk me through that process where you had an
Yeah.
idea, which
yeah.
again, I'm telling you, it's a brilliant idea, and you're saving a lot of people's lives. Seriously,
Life changing. It's
it
awesome.
is life changing, dramatic experiences. So you had
Yeah.
to start producing this thing, right? So walk through that a little bit, because
So
that's very difficult to go from an idea to actually getting a real product in your hand.
yeah, so I thought of the idea and then I sat down with my dad the next morning and I basically showed him what I was referring to because like so I kind of like made the first prototype out of my mom's pantyhose and a scrunchie for my room. And that's kind of how it was born. After that, it was like, where do we go from here? We went and saw a patent attorney to file for a provisional patent. My dad came up with the name NightCap, and then we found a graphic designer to create a logo. My brother was going to Florida State at the time, and he was coming home for the summer. And he came home, saw my prototype on the table. He was like, "What is this?" And basically dropped everything to get involved, and now he's my full-time business partner. So he raised a bunch of money while he was there at Florida State through pitch competitions. And my brother really like came in and took over like, the back end of things. And at 16, I don't know how to pick up the phone and call a manufacturer. So he kind of really helped me in the beginning with that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's really how we got it off the ground.
And you know what, I never would have guessed either that you were that young, honestly, because the way you hold yourself and talk about products and every time, no, seriously, I
Yeah.
tell you, that's pretty cool, man. At age 16, most people aren't thinking about their future outside of school, right? Certainly not developing a product of this magnitude. So that's pretty cool, man. I'll tell you, I mean, I'm gonna have my kids listen to this podcast because
Yeah.
I'm always trying to inspire them with something new. So I'm proud of you for that, for one.
I
And
just,
to come up with something
I,
so brilliant.
yeah, I mean, I grew up like watching my parents do the whole 9 to 5 thing, and I think that's what kind of drove me to the opposite route and like finding solutions to problems and like just kind of like like opening opportunities for yourself, because no one else is going to do that for you. So I thought that when the idea came to me, not only was it like a life-saving idea, but that was kind of like my chance to, let's go. Like, let's do this. And I also think ideas come to you for a reason. And if I were to not acted on it, it's like it would have either like bothered the shit out of me. Like I would have had to do something about it, or it would have gone to someone else and they would have, but
So when did you know you had something? When did you say, okay, this proof of concept is real now? Now I have a real product.
I think in the beginning, like right when I woke up that morning, I was like, okay, this could be everywhere. I had like a really big vision for it, but obviously like Shark Tank was that moment where I was like, this is crazy. Like this is every kid's dream. This is like something that my brother and I used to watch the show all the time where then we're standing behind the doors and you're like, this is wild.
Yeah. So how nervous were you? So you're standing behind there's two sets of doors, right? Okay, we'll talk about the whole COVID thing in a minute because you did Shark Tank like in my group of season 12, which was a COVID season. How nervous were you in front of those first doors before the director, the camera guy tells you he's going to count you down, you're going to walk through those doors?
The thing is, I would say my brother was a lot more nervous than me. I tried to like embrace myself in the scariness of it and just kind of like enjoy the moment. Like this is a one in a lifetime opportunity. Obviously there were nerves there, but I wasn't like, I could have been, like really it could have been really scary, but you have to take the scary part of it and kind of like immerse yourself in it and just be like, yep, this is happening. And I'm gonna be watching this forever, so don't mess up.
Right. And you had, right, before we get too far into, you had 10 days in a room in Vegas.
10 days in a room in Vegas. I was a minor. I was 17, so my dad had to come. So we actually got 2 connecting rooms.
Oh, wow.
So we got to run back and forth.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You're a minor in Shark Tank for 10 rooms, and you're pitching an adult product, I guess. It's not really an adult product, but to really use it, it means you're in a club somewhere, right? I mean, primarily.
Yeah. And yeah, I remember printing out photos of all the sharks, bringing them to Vegas with me, and laid them out on the couch in the room, and we pitched for like 2 hours a day. I remember we would wake up, work out, shower, order iced coffee to the room, get our breakfast delivered, pitch.
But when you're working out in the room, right? Because we couldn't even go in people don't realize you couldn't go anywhere. We were locked. I mean, it sounds awful, locked in a suite at the Venetian in Vegas. But do that for 10 days. And the 11th day you pitch, do that. And let me know how that works out.
Being able to look out the window at Vegas.
And that's when those fires were going on. So even the air quality felt dry. I think I drank 3 cases of water. It was crazy. I will never do that again. I was telling Carmine, I know one thing, I could never be a criminal. I can't be locked up in a room. And after pitching, I know I can't be an actor. Because like you said, I was waking up saying the pitch, in the morning. I was 2 in the morning waking up. I was going to the bathroom in the morning. I couldn't stop saying this thing. I saw people freeze. And the last thing I wanted was to be one of those people that froze on the stage.
Oh, no.
All right, so you do all this pitching, right? So when you feel like you're really ready to go, because you're pitching with your brother, right? You guys got to be. I mean, with Judy, we didn't really pitch together. It was all virtual, so it's even worse. We were never together. I didn't meet her until literally we went down. So I've been working with her for 2 years. I didn't meet her until we got called to go down on the set for the first time in person.
What?
And we were doing all the pitches virtually. So there's a little bit of a delay. And we changed our scripts. I had to forget all the stuff I did the first 3 days and redo it over. Oh, yeah, it was like, wow. I think there's a point too, Judy messes up a little bit and she catches herself and she gets herself back on, which a lot of people have a hard time with that. They start panicking, they go into this freeze state, and that's it. Once that happens, it's over.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's filming, baby.
That's what I was scared would happen to me, because like if I like black out, like forget everything, like there's no coming back.
Right. Yeah, I know. I mean, like we know some fellas like on the paintbrush cover guys. There's Sal. He froze, and I didn't, before I even knew him, I watched and I'm going, how did this guy freeze? So then later we became friends. I'm like, Sal, you realize what an idiot you look like?
Oh my God.
And then after I pitched, I called him up and said, okay, I take everything that I said about you back. I'm sorry. Because I could see how it could happen. And he had a couple guys with him, but I could see how it could happen.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Me-
That's so funny.
Wasn't it like when you first went to the second, like the first set of doors, you're walking down the Shark Tank aisle and then you see all the sharks. That was pretty strange, right? Not being able to talk for 30 seconds, looking at them, the whole Shark Tank stare. I'm thinking, I'm actually on the show that I've been watching for the last 10 years.
My brother explains it as if you're in the TV, and it's so
Right?
true. Like you're just like, how did I get here?
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird. Someone explained to me that they felt like they were in a car crash, and they were actually watching the crash as they were in it.
What?
That's not good. No, so okay, so you get on, you do your pitch. Lori
You
jumps pretty quick at it, right? Which is a perfect product for Lori.
Yeah, well, you have heard some funny stories. Anyway, I've never heard any of this. Yeah, so we pitched, we were in there for like 33 minutes. And we got a deal with Lori for 25% for $60,000. We asked for 20%, but we got 25. But it was like she jumped on it, and then everyone else was like, this is a Lori kind of deal. I hope you can't hear all that stuff going on out there.
No,
They're
I
like,
can't hear anything.
let's see. So they're like, this is Lori kind of deal. Like, just, like, just you better just go with her, basically. And we were like, are there any more offers on the table? They didn't really air this part, but yeah, I mean, we wanted her anyways, so we just
Yeah, she's perfect for that product, definitely.
Wow.
So okay, so after you get out of the tank, now you're walking down. How did that feel? No, you got to deal with Lori.
Oh.
insane.
And how old were you? You were 17?
Yeah, like I hadn't even
Wow.
I don't think graduated high school yet.
I
Like
was
it
just graduating high school at 17.
Uh,
I was
Yeah.
not thinking about like doing what you did ever.
So,
at
Shira,
17.
Shira, when you went back to school, were people like, holy shit, you got to deal with the sharks?
Well, it's funny because I went on, pitched to them in August of 2020, and then I started my freshman year, like September, maybe August of 2022, actually.
Wow.
So it was probably the same month. Like I pitched on Shark Tank and went to college within the same month, but you can't say anything.
Mm.
So I didn't tell anyone, and then 6 months later is like the next semester. So like before the second semester, I was able to like post on Instagram and all this stuff. And I remember coming back to college and like literally walking into this place and people just like turning their heads, people asking for pictures with me and stuff like that. And I was like, this is insane. And then the best part was that like all the sororities dropped me in the beginning, and then they were like, oh no, come back.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
We
I
talk
love
about
it.
that so much.
I
Like
love
as soon
it.
as you get a little bit of fame, everyone wants to be your
Yeah,
buddy.
baby. That's the Shark Tank effect right there.
You know what I always say? Sarah, I always say this. I'm gonna put a trademark on this. I literally always say, you know who I am? And I swear to God, for 3 seconds, people look and go, who are you? I'm a
My favorite
they're never sure in the beginning. They always like they made a mistake.
my favorite thing that someone said to me was that like they're like, you're a Z-list celebrity.
A C-list.
I love it.
But it's true, like Shark Tank people are Z-list.
Oh my God,
I
that's good.
love it.
That's interesting. So if you're a Z-list, and what does that mean? Oh, that means they didn't even get on the list.
Yeah, baby. That's right. There you know this.
All right, so now you got a deal. You guys are partying, you're celebrating. You can't party because you're not old enough. You have to drink Pepsi or Coke or whatever, ginger ale. So then what happens now? Now the fun starts, right? Now that afterwards you're gonna get some airing, you're gonna get sales, you gotta get inventory.
That's
Talk
not the
about that a
fun
little
part.
bit.
That's the crazy
That
part.
gets kind of stressful.
Yeah, like so we aired in February of 2021. And we had $68,000 at the time when we were on the show, and we did like $300,000 that night.
Yeah. And being a young kid, you're going,
Oh
what is
man.
happening right now? What just happened to my life?
Yeah, it was insane. We had a party, and in the front of the room we had the episode airing, in the back of the room we had the analytics. So I was just going like back and forth, like, how are there 20,000 people on my website right now?
Is that's nuts. When Carmen was at my Shark Tank airing party, and I was holding my phone up and the emails, the orders.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a show. No one believed me. It was like,
ding, 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 ding.
It was crazy.
Sound like somebody's ringing his doorbell outside, or like going like that.
So there truly is a Shark Tank effect. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah,
All right, so
funny.
So now being in it for 3 years, right? You really come a long way. You probably develop, now you develop more products. People are really knowing who you are. They know your product. It's growing. So talk about that a little bit. Like how big are you getting? You don't have to tell me the numbers, but just like from a global standpoint, I think you're shipping to other countries now, right? If you're not, you should be.
We've sold to over 40 countries, and we have sold like 500,000 of these. So we've done like $5 million in sales.
Yeah, wow.
We also did an update episode the season after. So that was pretty cool to film, because that, like, you watch those thinking that like the team came to their house and filmed it, when it's like, it's literally do it yourself. So that's pretty interesting.
Love it.
And then
it's funny because my Good Morning America update was like that. They send the camera crew. That's it.
Yeah.
But you're filming it yourself. Oh yeah, I didn't like that. Cut. Let me do another one.
Yeah, I mean, I was exhausted. I think that was like a couple hours, and it only was like a 90-second thing. But I mean, it's been great. Like, even just the Shark Tank reunion and like the Shark Tank community and that whole thing is such a fun little like community. I don't know, like, it's just great to be able to have so many entrepreneurs just that have experienced that same thing. But yeah, I mean, I dropped out of school like a year and a half ago, and I pretty much do like the front end of things. I produce all the content, and I do the like ads, PR, partnerships, events, all the fun stuff, and my brother does all the boring stuff.
Don't tell him.
All the manufacturing stuff, Carmine.
He's doing the exciting stuff.
She has the fun job.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah. And then when he doesn't deliver, she beats on him. So I was going to ask you about that. How is that working with your brother? I can't imagine my two kids, Chris and Tyler. I can never imagine them working together without killing each other.
Yeah. How old are they? Like, that's the difference.
30 and 25.
See, we have the same age gap.
Yep.
So my brother is 5 years older than me, and it's great. Like, honestly, I wouldn't work with anyone else besides him. We are just good at different things, and that's why it works. We don't really fight either, like, unless, I don't know, it'll be over something really minor. And it's like, you have to get back to business. So
yeah.
Like,
but that is good, because you hear a lot of the whole differences with their families and all. That's great. That's good to hear.
Well,
I mean, maybe maybe having a woman and a man, maybe that makes it a little bit different, as opposed to two competitive guys.
I would probably consider myself more like outgoing than he is. So it's like, I'm very loud and he is more quiet. So it's kind of like, it works that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good. And you guys have learned how to work, right, with disciplines that you both know what you're good at. I mean, we talk about that all the time. Know what you're good at, know what you're not good at, right? Focus on the good stuff, which is equally important. So let's talk about now so you got this whole product that's going, you're in 40 countries. Now you've got some new products. Talk about that a little bit, because I know that's how you really grow a business, right? Having one product is great, but you're going to at some point cap it out, literally. Now having other products will just make you that much stronger in the market.
Yeah, we came out with a unisex version pretty short after Shark Tank. We came out with like the same concept, except it doesn't go into a scrunchie. It goes onto your keys. So you always have it. We also came out with can cooler covers, which is just a fancy way of saying koozie with a lid on top.
Oh.
And
I
then
like that.
yeah, we've got beer bottle tops now that go into a pouch and they stay on your keys. We have different kinds of straws. We have this new disposable sticker that we got the rights to distribute in America. It's from the UK, and it's basically allowing us to create like more of a B2B model where businesses can buy them for a really cheap price, still be able to like customize them or put QR codes on them and like protect their customers or advertise on them, kind of whatever they want to do. But it's like our foot in the door to music festivals and more universities and stuff like that. And then we also just launched our bachelorette box, which is going to be really fun because all these bachelorette ladies, they come to us and they want the nightcaps, but now we do like, if your party's 10, you get 9 black nightcaps, 1 white one for the bride. We have beer bottle tops in there, makeup wipes, hydration packets, shot glasses, and it's all for like $20 a person. So
Wow.
that's
awesome.
Really,
That is really cool.
Hey,
yeah.
hey, share real quick. I mean, for our listeners, can you explain what, the need for this? I mean, this is really like an epidemic of what's happened around the country. Some people it might not have affected, but this is huge, right?
Yeah, it's a bigger problem than most people realize. And if you go look up the reports on it too, it's like you don't get anything really. I mean, you do, but it's like most people don't report their cases because it's either A, they get told they're drinking too much, or B, like people just don't believe that. Like there's just so many, or they feel like embarrassed.
Horrible.
And so a lot of these things go unreported, but this stuff is happening to women and men. And it's not only to like, for the intention of like assault, it's also for the intention of like, oh, this guy's wearing a really nice watch, I'm going to drug him and I'm going to rob him.
Mhm.
So that's very common as well. And yeah, like places like Austin, Texas right now has a serial killer that's going around that's actually starting with drink spiking and it's just starting with that and taking it just, you don't even want to know. But
Boston too, right? I'm from the Boston area. I hear a lot of horror stories in Boston right now.
yeah, I was gonna say Boston has like an entire Facebook group chat and like everyone has contributed to this Google Doc where they're like, place I got roofied, time I got roofied. There's a whole spreadsheet, and Michael and I are meeting with the Boston Senate next week to
Oh, that's
talk.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that because I feel like that's that's the stuff that I really want to start getting into. Like we've met with like officials in California as well before, but it's like this stuff in Boston. I want to get to I want to get to the core of it. I want to implement more stuff in the bar. Like you shouldn't have to use my product. You should you shouldn't have to use it, but there needs to be more cameras in the like where the bartenders are making the drinks, like implementing stuff like little things like that will go a long way.
Yeah, I think you're right. You start getting to government too, man. You start getting into policy, which becomes part of how you should do it. You're absolutely right. I mean, and the real problem is, like you said, not a lot of people like see it as a problem, right? But here's what always happens, and my wife is great at saying this: you're never concerned about it until it happens to you. Just something like this happens to you. So this is, that's a perfect example of your product. You don't want this to happen to you because it could be too late. It's too late by then.
I try to tell people like it's like the extra safety precaution, like you wear your seatbelt and you lock your door. And this isn't something where, you have something happen to you and then you go and buy the product. It's like you want to take the precautions before anything happens. And then it's also like not for putting your drink down and walking away. It's when you're holding your drink or your drink is right next to you or right in front of you. It's not, let me just go walk to the bathroom. Like you should be taking your drink with you, even with a drink cover.
Yeah.
I told you just recently in Vegas, I was with my daughter, with my son, bunch of us. And I'm like, how easy it is. I was telling my older boy how easy it is to roofie somebody. This dude, I don't even know, is bumping into me. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like he was so drunk, or he's playing the game that he's drunk and then he drops something, like you said, in the drink. He's looking at your jewelry, something to take from you.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. I mean, it could have happened like that. It was.
Yeah. I mean, it could even happen like when you're shaking someone's hand, like it's the quickness of it's so quick, and that's why this stuff happens, because it's so unnoticeable and you don't expect it. And a lot of the times it could also be people that you know.
Yeah, geez, that's all. That's even on a whole other platform. Well, I can tell you one thing. After listening to your story and know more about you, I'm so proud of you. I don't want to hear anybody ever tell me they're too young, right? I mean, I always felt like at age 13, I had the largest paper route in Connecticut as an entrepreneur. I was out there hustling to make $100 a week as a 13-year-old, right? You came up with something that's going to revolutionize the entire industry and protecting. I can't even imagine having a daughter at that age now. Like how much, I have a son who's 25, right? Who makes me, think about and call him up and remind him. And, I can't even imagine having a daughter, honestly. It's scary. That whole club scene, or even meeting people today. And look, you're 20 years old. You're not even old enough to go to the damn club, right? What is it, 21 now?
Yeah, I'll be 21 in August, right after.
Oh, party. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, congratulations. Honestly, I'm so proud of you. I mean, to be at that age and come up with something like this is really cool. And, I hope you sell 100 million of these things, because, I mean, everyone needs to have one if you're in a club or not, or just anywhere, really. I mean, this could be at a party, just someone's house party, right? It's such an easy thing to carry now. You made it so convenient. So there's no reason not to have one.
Literally.
Look
It's
at that,
just
right?
scrunchy. Yeah, you can wear it in your hair.
Yep.
I mean, I usually just wear it in my hair, and yeah. It also helps with like bugs and sand at the beach in the summertime.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
100%.
Thank you. I'm proud of you too.
and we're gonna
Yeah.
keep we're gonna keep you notified of all our shows and all the educational panels we have, because we want you on that. I mean, I mean, certainly someone of your caliber at this young age, you don't hear a lot of stories like this, honestly, at this age, right?
Yeah,
And man, I want to see what the future holds for you.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot more people though that that are young and starting companies. Especially like it's so much more accessible now, like education, like podcasts, YouTube. Just like I learned so much from just following other founders and watching their stories, and I learned a lot of how it's just really a lot of trial and error. And like school or no school, you're not going to get out of college and know how to start a business. So
Absolutely.
No doubt.
And we say that a lot, right? We talk about like inventing, entrepreneurship, and running a business. Those are all different aspects. I mean, I've run really big companies, and there's a lot that goes into running a business. You turned what your idea was into now, not just a product, but into multi-products, into a business that's going to grow and continue to grow. And I think as long as you keep running it like a business and you keep thinking like $100 million, you'll get there. Trust me on that, because I think when you start thinking bigger than expectations, you achieve that, as opposed to thinking small. I always say, you think small, you're going to grow small. You think big, outside the box, you're going to grow big.
yeah, totally. I mean, when we first started the company, I still think that, even my brother too, like, I don't think he really sees where it could go still. Like, I think he still has this like 5 to 10 million number in his head. And you just saying 100 million, like, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But it's true. Like, you kind of visualize those numbers and it gets you closer.
It does. And if you work towards it every day, you'll grow a lot faster, and you'll do things you won't believe, and you probably already have, that you didn't believe you could do, right? You get forced into having to do it, and then it becomes a natural instinct for you now. So like developing new products, right? That's something, you had an idea. I can't tell how many people tell me they had an idea. I'm like, it's all it is. It's just a brain thought until you make it reality, until you act on it. It's just an idea. So great job.
Thank you.
Really, congratulations. There you go, Carmine. This may be one of the best podcasts we had in a long time. We've had some great podcasts, but not at this magnitude with someone so young. Honestly, I didn't think you were this young when I first met you. I mean, you carry yourself a lot older, like a veteran, seriously. So
Yeah,
should be proud of that as well.
most of the people I meet think I'm like, I've gotten like 27 recently, 28. I'm like, that's crazy. Most of my friends are like 25, 26, 27
Yeah,
though.
I can see that.
Believe it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can definitely see that.
like I don't know. I don't know how this happened.
Well, keep it up because it's working.
Yeah. Sometimes it's better you don't know.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
No, it's a great, great show. You know, what I love about some of the things you said, I loved all the things you said, but some of them really stuck out to me is that, you know, it's not always people you don't know. And that's what's really important that not only young people, but anyone, it's not only people you don't know that you got to really, you know, we don't want, and you don't want people to be fearful. You just want them to be prepared. And I think that's what's so great about this. It's like having a fire extinguisher. It's that one time that you need it that is life changing. And I mean, you might not even hear from all the people that you're changing their lives. And maybe they don't even know that your product saved them that night. And that's what really makes me think about this is an awesome product and you're saving people and you don't sound like a person who's full of it and you're leading off that, but you're really saving people's lives and helping people. And I think it's just awesome.
Yeah, that's the best part about it. Honestly, like I don't think I realized that until like 2-3 years into it's like our 4th year of business. And I don't think I realized really what kind of impact we were making until 2 or 3 years after the fact that we started it. Like, I mean, even if you go on our Amazon page, like the reviews of this are like phenomenal. And there's one Amazon review that's like this one girl that was in a club, the lights were off and she couldn't, like, she had her nightcap on her drink and she walks into the lobby. There's light in the lobby and there's a pill on top of the drink.
Oh my God.
It's just like, I mean, they probably didn't see that there was a nightcap there. So that's crazy. And B, like, if she's saying that, I'm sure there's many other people. It's just
more.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're hearing like, and you're going to prevent all of this. It's like having, you know, like a camera outside your house that scares a burglar from coming to your house. Right? This is literally going to deter somebody if they see it for one, and they don't see it. Then it's a protection. It's going to potentially save your life.
100%.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And the person who didn't have it, what do they have now? They have a bad story, a bad experience that may affect them the entire life.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I think it's awesome.
It
You know,
is.
and we're not telling people to live in fear. We're telling them be prepared, take care of yourself, be careful, but go out and have fun. You're not saying don't go out. You're saying go out and have fun.
Absolutely.
No, the whole point is to be able to go out and have fun in the world that we live in now.
That's right.
Like, no, go live your life and like do whatever, but just take precaution when doing so. It's like it's, you know, the same thing as having like a pepper spray on you or something like that. Like, it's just
makes sense. So I love this podcast, like you said, Chris. I have a 7-year-old daughter. It's all I think about. You know, when she goes to college and she does those things, perfect timing. You know, it's just really, really important. You always want them to go out. You want them to live their life, and things like this that you invented they're life changing. Just that one time it works. Seatbelt, fire extinguisher. It just needed that one time. Whether it works 20 times, that's right, but just that one time. I think it's awesome.
All right, let's close it out.
Sure.
So where can we find all your products besides it was nightcapit.com, right?
Yep, nightcapit.com and Amazon are your best bets. And then if you're ever like if you're like a business owner, bar owner, or something like that, or you know someone at a university that would want to buy these in bulk, you can just fill out the bulk order form on that website.
All right, terrific.
Awesome.
Thanks again,
great.
Shirah, for coming on. Appreciate it.
Great job. So all you guys out there listening to the podcast, make sure you go out, check out the website, buy these things, give them out. You're saving somebody, you're helping somebody. Also, go on out, listen to the podcast, make sure you subscribe, leave us a review, a rating, send in some questions, let us know how we're doing. Let Chris know how he's doing. It's very important. He really loves the feedback. We thank you for listening. And for next time, we will catch you later on the Shark Tank Effect. You all take care.